Good morning, students. I welcome you all for commerce class. I think so. You'll be very happy to listen this class. I believe that all are fine even during this pandemic situation. So far, we have completed two parts from chapter 17. Today, we are going to see about responsibilities of consumers in detail. So, students, I would like you all to listen very carefully. The objective of consumerism is to protect the consumers. So, this objective cannot be achieved through consumer rights by themselves. Consumer protection can be achieved only when the consumers understand their responsibilities. So, consumers should keep in mind their responsibilities while purchasing a product, using a product, and consuming goods and services. So, students, these rights and responsibilities are two sides of the same coin, like head and tail in a coin. Just as consumers enjoy certain rights, they owe certain responsibility. What is meant by owe? Owe means they have to go according to their responsibilities. They have to work according to their responsibilities. So, the responsibilities of the consumers are listed below. I will explain it one by one. Please do listen carefully, students, because it is one of the 5 marks. So, the first responsibility of consumer is the consumer must pay the price of the goods according to the terms and conditions of the sales contract. What is the meaning of this? That is, after purchasing a product, according to the terms and conditions, what is the consumer's responsibility? He has to pay the correct exact price for the goods. If suppose the value of the goods is 500 rupees means no other go, you have to pay 500 in order to purchase the product. Next, the consumer has got a responsibility to apply to the seller for the delivery of the goods. He or she has to take delivery of the goods in time. The meaning is the consumer can also apply for the delivery of the goods at doorsteps after ordering for the product, but it is the responsibility of the consumer to take delivery of the goods in time. The next responsibility is the consumer has to bear any loss which may arise to the seller when the consumer delays taking delivery of the goods as per the terms of contract. Here it states clearly that it is the responsibility of each and every consumer bear any loss, that is, when at the time of delivery of the goods, if suppose the consumer is not ready to take the delivery of the goods or the consumer is absent there at the doorsteps or fails to take the delivery of the goods on the correct time. In such case, if any loss occurs to the seller or any expenses met by the seller, in such case, on such delay, the loss will be borne only by the consumer. Next responsibility is the consumer is bound to pay any interest or special damages caused to the seller in case if there is delay in the payment. Here I would like to give an example and give the meaning clearly, students. So just listen carefully. For example, if A is a consumer, B is a seller. A has purchased goods in order for installment. So installment means the correct date it has to be paid the installment amount. In such a case, if there is a delay in payment, the consumer A has not paid correctly, if there is any delay or because of the delay any damage occurs for the seller, the interest along with the delay in payment, the interest also has to be paid by the consumer himself. The next responsibility is the consumer has to assiduously follow and keenly observe the instructions and precautions while using the products. So, assiduously means take care in order to follow or observe keenly the instructions. Instructions means certain informations or certain precautions will be given in the purchase of a durable goods such as like washing machines, then gas stoves or ACs, So certain precautions and instructions will be given in order how to use the product. So according to certain instructions, we have to use the product. We means the consumers have to use the product. They should not handle the products rough and tough. Next is the consumer has a responsibility to express unambiguously to the seller of his requirements and expectations from the product. Unambiguous means clear. So the consumer should clearly tell about his own requirement and expectations from a particular product which the seller sells. Next responsibility of a consumer is he has to collect complete information about the quality, quantity, price, etc. of the product before purchasing it. Seek means trying to find out. So the consumer he has to try to find out about all the informations related to the purchase of a product. Suppose for example if a consumer is trying to purchase a two-wheeler means he has to get all the information related with the company, the model, the quality, the price of the product, everything before he could purchase that particular two-wheeler. Next responsibility is the consumer should get cash receipt for the product he has purchased because it will be a proof for the purchased product from the seller. After purchasing the products, if there is any defect or damage means he can claim along with the proof, the cash receipt. So if it suppose carries any warranty, the buyer must obtain the warranty card mentioning the date of purchase and period of warranty. It must also bear the signature and stamp of the seller organization, which must bear the cash receipt. Bear signature means the seller has to sign in that cash receipt and also he has to affix the seal in that receipt. Next responsibility is the consumer can file a complaint with the seller concerned about defects or shortcomings noticed in the products or services after purchasing it. Suppose for example, if there is a defect in the product which a consumer has purchased, he can go tell about the default in the product, that is the grievance or complaint, to that particular seller in order for the exchange of the new product instead of the defect product. Next, the consumer responsibility, that the consumer should never compromise on the quality of the goods. Suppose for example, if a seller sells a defective quality good or product, at once the consumer has to check with the ISI mark, AGMAR, FBO mark and the like of the standard quality certification marks. So if suppose the marks are not there on the label, that means it is of less quality. So the consumer should not compromise with the seller. He has to stand in his own responsibility and right. Next responsibility of the consumer, that the consumer should not be carried away by exaggerating the quality of the goods through advertisement, is that even though the seller's duty is to tell more about the products, exaggerate means what? Extra additional information, extra effects added to the product through advertisement. Even if such case happens, the consumer should not go along with the advertisement. The consumer responsibility is the consumer has to check all the features of the product even if it is advertised, and the actual features observed in the product must be noted down. So he has to bring to the notice of the seller or advertiser what are the real features and what has been advertised. Next responsibility is that the consumer has a responsibility for every right to safety, right to be informed, right to choose and right to represent and right to seek redressal and right to seek information. If any of these rights is violated, the consumer should file a complaint with the appropriate legal machinery under the Consumer Protection Act 1986. So with this part gets over, students, and also this chapter gets completed. Let us recall what all we came across in this chapter, that is duties, rights and responsibilities of consumers. First we came across the rights of the consumers, then about duties of consumers. Totally there are 11 duties, and then we came across responsibilities of consumers. We'll meet again tomorrow, students. Thank you, students.